Welcome back, everybody. This is Edwin, the Magic Engineer, and I got something really cool for you guys today. So I was contacted by a real nice guy named Chris, who has an Instagram channel called Games You Loved. Let me give you a quick show here. And his Instagram channel had a whole bunch of like retro gaming things on it, like pictures of arcades and stuff like that. And what he asked me if I was interested in seeing is this really cool 1/4 scale unit for these arcade machines developed by this company called NumSkull. And I'll show you here. This is their website. And if you go to category here, whoops, and you go to arcade machines, you can see that they're planning on doing all these really cool 1/4 scale arcade machines. And so Chris decided that he thought it'd be a neat idea to offer to send one to me to do like a in-depth review of it and check it out and try it out and then show it on the channel. And he said I could just keep it. And I thought, yeah, that sounds great, man. Let's do that. I love arcade machines. So here's the unboxing, and then we'll get to some of the other pieces, the other details of it. Okay, the Pac Man cabinet just arrived from Games You Loved. And this is all the way from the United Kingdom, so I have to open this up, and I'm kind of excited to see this thing. Because I do love arcade games, and this is a much smaller cabinet, and this one is a little bit of a special edition too. Oh, okay, look at that. First thing you see coming out of the box.
Aw, Pac Man!
The Pac Man box right there. And that's my mom is behind the camera right now filming for me. Because she's here visiting from California. So, Mom, you're on YouTube now.
Yay!
You exposed yourself by talking. Okay, look at that on the top. You got that?
Yeah!
Collector's Edition. Boy, the box is even really cool. Just by itself, isn't it? Are you excited, guys?
I'm excited!
I'm excited, too. Okay. But I'm trying to be very delicate because this is real nice packaging. Look at that. Instruction booklet here just popped right out. The instruction manual, certificate of authenticity. Wow. And what is this? Okay, this is right on the top here, like this.
Uh-huh.
Is it a pin or a coin? We've got one of the cables. Looks like one of the USB adapters, maybe for power. Look at that. Wow. Look at that. You know, the arcade one-ups, I actually had to build. You know, they pop out of a box and you got to spend some time putting them together. But this one looks like it's just ready to go. And that's a power. Is this battery powered? Oh my gosh, it is. It's battery powered. Oh wait, oh I see. I probably need to put a coin in. There we go. Oh my gosh. It works. Okay, so the unboxing was really cool. I did not expect all the special inserts like the coin and all that other stuff. So, and I didn't expect it to be battery powered and stuff like that too. Like, what neat features. So anyways, let me show you guys a little bit more in depth about the actual features of the actual cabinet. Okay, so here's the Pac Man unit all out of the box, and you can see how nice the cabinet is. And you can see all these nice little screws here on the top. I think are really awesome. And there's a feature here in the back I thought was really cool. When you look at all these vents, maybe it's hard to tell on the camera, you can actually see that there's like, if I can get the light right on it, maybe when it's on, there's actually like little bits of like vents, like air vents, like you would see on the original cabinet back there. And down here on the bottom is where you have the power switch and you have the volume control. And then there's also, if I can get the light right, there's a plug there for the USB power to go in. And when you look real close on the coin op on the front there, you can see that there's little buttons and they actually work. When you press those in, that's like putting a quarter into the actual system, which is really cool. So now if I'm going to flip the power on, let's see which side was it on. You can see that the actual the display up here at the top, the marquee turns on. And I don't know if this was like part of it intended, but you get all that crazy static and stuff at the beginning. Maybe that's part of the neatness of the cabinet, not sure. But I'm gonna do the one coin here. And then I'm gonna do player one. Grab the tiny little joystick. And I'm off to the races. And I've been using this for a while, and nothing actually seems to be messed up with it. The controls, I mean, the joystick is just tiny because it's meant to be quarter scale, but as far as I can tell, it's actually functional. I haven't like had control issues with it yet, and I haven't had game glitches yet with it. The overall quality of the ROM actually seems to be pretty good. I'm pretty impressed with it, actually. And if you don't want it to be this loud, then there actually is a volume control that's around the back, so I can turn it down there. So if you're going to be playing it at nighttime and not wanting to irritate your family, you got an option for it, right? And when you want to turn it back off, you can just reach around the back side and hit the button, and it'll just power down. See, the marquee turn off and everything. What a cool unit. Okay, let's get a little bit of a better look at this actual box. Now, there's the Numskull logo, where these are actually being made, and you can see that this one is the collector's edition. And there's the features here: quarter scale arcade cabinet, part of the Quarter Arcades line there. It's actually a really nice box, and they have all the details listed right here for this actual cabinet. But like you saw in my opening, it actually did come with some extra pieces here. So this is one of them. This is the specialty coin, and I think actually that's the back side of it, so let me flip it around. There we go, that's the front. It's the Pac Man. Let's just take it out so you can see. Pac Man 1980, that must be the year that it actually came out. And we can see Pac Man Banai, not for sale, Quarter Arcades. And then there's a little layout there of the actual beginning of the game, Pac Man, right before you start. And here's the brand that made it and gave us this lovely little piece here. The Numskull Inspiration Designed. And I like the packaging that it's got here. It's got some logos and stuff on the back, and you can just put your coin in here for when you want to display it, with a little window on it. It's a nice little box. Oops. I tilted it forward too far and I knocked it out. Let's just get it back in there and center it. Okay. Now it also came with this certificate of authenticity, and mine actually has an individual code here, and then there's a limited number of these collector's edition ones, and so I get to feel very, very special to own one of these collector's edition ones. I'll have to keep it keep it in great shape. And we even have a Pac Man instruction manual. Not an awful lot to it though. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, pretty simple on how to get the whole thing hooked up, but you can tell it's on like that nice kind of shiny waxy paper you used to get back with your old Nintendo systems and Nintendo games, not just cheap paper. So, you know, the quality of everything in here is honestly really good. Now also the unit came with a USB cable, and you can see the individual USB type. I think that's called micro USB on this side that plugs into the actual unit. Now what's really nice about the Pac Man unit actually is since it has a USB plug, and you notice I was running it, by the way, on batteries, so the whole unit actually is battery powered. But since you can actually plug it in like this and keep it charged up, you could actually use a little portable USB power if you wanted to. So, you know, like, you know, one of those little bricks that you can carry around, or you can just plug it into any kind of, you know, USB power adapter, and I'm sure the actual power usage is really low on it. But when I go through the tech specs here in a little bit, we might be able to get a more specific read on that. Okay, let's see how far I can actually get in the game here. Let's try to actually make a level. And like I said, the controls are honestly really good. By the way, guys, going for points is all about eating those ghosts. Oh, see, look at that. Look how terrible I am. Chase me, huh? What's hard about this game is you always need to take risks to be able to get these ghosts. There we go. We're gonna go to level 3. Look how big my hands are compared to this thing. Okay, here we go. Okay, so just a little bit more about Numskull to make sure everyone's familiar with it. I know you guys have seen their stuff at GameStops and places like that. So if you come over here to their website, you can see that, I guess they're getting into ducks here in just a little bit. But right here's the arcade machines. I'll go into that in a second. They do all kinds of mugs and things like that. But they also do, probably most of you have seen them for the gaming accessories like Numskull headphones, game controllers and chargers, things like that is a lot of what they really focus on. You do have the arcade machines here, and I'll be showing you some other details about those as well. But I'm excited about all these, and this is the one that's out right now. And the others are going to be released pretty soon. I've got more details about that in a second. I thought this was pretty funny. They've got candles and incense burners, and most of them seem, okay, you know, themed outside cans and stuff, but this was cracking me up. Star Wars, look, the inside of a Tauntaun. And the Millennium Falcon. And look at this. Make your house smell like an Ewok, or the Death Star when it's destroyed, or smell like a trash compactor. I just thought that was hilarious. So whoever's making this stuff for these guys has got a good sense of humor. And my wife and I collect Disney pins because we always go to the parks. And so we thought it was pretty cool that they have pin collections. We definitely like that. And maybe we'll have to pick up a couple Christmas decorations for the tree as well. Like I specifically really like these. The gold and the silver, the X-Wing fighters and the TIE fighters from Star Wars. We think that was definitely pretty cool. Let's see, what else was really cool inside of here? I think you saw some of the mugs already. We're already in the kind of the kitchen area. They do have some repeats on different pages for where this stuff all basically is. So yeah, Numskull is definitely a pretty well-known brand, and I guess they are now teamed up with Games You Loved somehow. I don't know how necessarily they're related, but I'm glad they did. Thank you, Chris at Games You Loved, for like working with me on all this stuff. Okay, so he also sent me a fact sheet where I could just scroll through and get a lot of questions answered, the type of things I was just starting to hammer him with questions about, so I could present this information to you guys. So here's that fact sheet. And this one specifically is focused on the Pac Man 1/4 scale arcade cabinet. And you can see bigger cabinets back there. Those might be like the actual originals. I'm not sure what's in that picture. But anyways, the one that he sent me out here is the actual Pac Man Collector's Edition, which looks like in the United States will have a retail price of $230. But it gets this actually was shipped to me from the UK, so a little bit unsurprisingly, the UK version was a little bit less, 150 in British pound, and then 180 euros. So looks like the people who got it the worst is was it odd? Is that Australia? And so for the other cabinets that are not the collector's edition, of course, the price looks like it's going to be much less. It's only going to be $150 United States. And yeah, nice little price drop there for those. So let's see. They're a 1/4 scale, like I was telling you. This is the first of the series. So for 1/4 scale arcades, apparently these are the first one. The collector's edition only has 10,000 units. And now I've got one of those. It's mine. I'm keeping it. And I was really surprised to see all the included packaging. You know, you had the coin, and then you had that sheet that had the certificate of authenticity. And they are really realistic, like you saw in the video. You know, that's definitely all there. And the quality is there. Like when you're even looking at the vents on the back, that the vents are actually even there. So 430 millimeters tall, 160 wide, and 210 deep. And the screen is a TFT with a 4:3 aspect ratio. And I can tell you guys, it was all nice and bright from every direction I looked at it. And a 3-watt speaker, you could hear it in the videos. I would say it's plenty loud enough for everything I was doing. I'm not sure I would want it louder. This part surprised me, that it actually had not only a battery, but a lithium-ion battery, which is nice for such a small unit because you could power it up from USB and then haul it around a little bit. And you saw that it was a micro USB cable. Thank you guys for just conforming to an industry standard connector. And this was really nice. The marquee actually lit up. You know, you don't get that with the Arcade 1-Up series. You know, you have just a piece of wood with like a sticker on the top, basically. And the replica wooden shell with metal details was a nice feature to it. And you'll see that actually when you go down here and you look at the different cabinets. And you can see the release dates that they're going to have on all of them. But what I want to call out is see how they're all shaped different? To my understanding, they're actually built to look like the original cabinets, which is really cool. So the Pac Man has just come out. I've got one of those units. The next one that I'm planning to buy or somehow obtain would be Dig Dug, because I have many of these games I actually have in my arcade cabinets, the arcade 1-ups, but I do not have Dig Dug. And I don't even think Arcade 1-Up offers that yet, so that would be pretty exciting to get my hands on that one. They also don't have Track and Field and Space Invaders to my knowledge, so those would be unique with this series also. And they have Pac Man, but not Miss Pac Man. So my wife Holly was actually pretty interested in the Miss Pac Man. And you can see the dates here when they're planning to release all of them. So I'll apparently have to wait till 2020, May of 2020, to get Dig Dug, which is a little unfortunate. And let's see, was there any other details? No, I think that was most of the important details that I was wanting to mention on them. So anyways, yeah, I can definitely tell you guys, it's a pretty cool unit. When I was first using the little joystick, I was a little worried about breaking it because it was like so small. But I've been using it pretty well, and like everyone in my family's used it, and it seems to hold up. With the arcade 1-ups, I remember one of the only negative feedbacks I gave them was like the joystick quality could have been better. The buttons aren't like fantastic feel, but they work just fine. So there's no actual problem with it. But I actually had some problems with the joysticks on the arcade 1-ups. So I had a video that I'll link right now where I actually switched them over to Sanwa joysticks, some official Japanese ones. And that really helped out, by the way. That's the only thing I'm really just saying you guys are going to want in arcade 1-ups is to switch them over to Sanwas, because that's a huge difference. But this little tiny one actually seemed to work pretty well, which is surprising considering how small it was. So all I can say is good job, Numskull, with the cabinet. I definitely recommend it. I think it's worth the money, considering like that it's like a collector's unit and the detail is all there and it's really nice. And just to have it in your house, and like it takes up a lot less space than like a full arcade 1-up or like a complete full-size cabinet. And they're a little bit cheaper than the other ones you can get, and it's just so nice to be able to kind of haul them around and hear those old arcade sounds. So anyways, thanks for watching the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you later.